What's going on, guys? My name is Ben and welcome back to another video. Today is one of those pinch yourself moments because I am driving one of my dream cars. The car I am in today is the beautiful Jaguar F-Type V6S, and it sounds absolutely nuts. I think I need to calm down a little bit, but for me this is a massive deal. The reason this is a massive deal for me and why I am sat here chuckling like a child over the intoxicating sound of the supercharged V6 originated back to my childhood. From 1951 to 2005, Jaguar cars were built at the Browns Lane plant located in my hometown of Coventry. With my auntie working in the Special Vehicles Operations department, it's safe to say that I have been exposed to some pretty awesome cars. In 2004, when the new XK was released, she brought an early model round to my house. As a 9-year-old David Beckham wannabe, this was just about as exciting as it got. I ogled the car the entire time, and that sparked the Jaguar flame. 3 years later, the XF was released, a luxury 4-door saloon with the luxurious qualities you'd expect from a brand like Jaguar. A family friend brought one round to my house, and once again, I fell in love with the Jaguar brand. I even have a signed sketch by Jaguar designer Ian Callum. In 2013, the convertible variant of the F-Type was released. As an XK replacement, immediately it caught my attention. I remember looking out of my bedroom window and seeing one parked outside my house. As you can imagine, I was ecstatic. That energy continues today, which is why I am beyond excited to be driving this F-Type. Ever since then, it's been a constant love affair. I was even taken around Coventry Ring Road in a V8R sideways during Coventry Motorfest. I've been out in the SVR, but I've never ever driven one until today. Somehow, the owner of this car has agreed to throw me the keys and let me drive his car for this video. And my God, I am so excited. My general... Oh my God. I must try and contain my excitement, mainly for the silly sounds this car is making, and try and review it the best I can for you. But just listen to it. So this model is the V6S. It produces 380 horsepower from its supercharged 3-litre engine. Now, this car on paper is quite similar to my M3, 0 to 60 in around 4.8, whereas my M3 is around 4.6, so pretty much same kind of times. And I would love to consider this car as a potential replacement to the M3 when the time comes. I know the M3 is quite an enthusiast's car, whereas this may be deemed as quite heavy and a bit of a grand tourer. However, it's just so modern and it sounds ridiculous. I think what Jaguar have done here is make a car that tries to appeal to the younger kind of market, whereas all their other cars have been a bit old mannish. And they've definitely done it with this, with the absolute achingly beautiful looks of this coupe. The convertible looks good as well, but it just doesn't quite have the lines as this car does. And of course the snap, crackle and pops coming out the exhaust. It's so loud for a standard system. Oh. As you can probably tell, this monumental occasion for me is just so special. I am so grateful that I am finally able to drive one of these cars. And it is probably the variant, if I was to buy one, that I would go for, being the V6S. And for the first time in, well, ever, I can finally say that I drive a Jag. So then, what am I expecting from this car? They say don't meet your heroes, but probably, 5 minutes in, I am already absolutely beaming and my face hurts from smiling too much. But I'm expecting a very comfortable kind of grand tourer when you are just pootle along nicely, things like that. This would be a perfect road trip car, I think. However, I feel once you're on roads like these, you whack it in dynamic mode and you're going through the pedals, I imagine that this car just comes into its all and is a proper weapon. First impressions of the interior then. The fit and finish in here is so plush. It is such a nice place to be, and this particular one is a beautiful spec with the much added light making the cabin feel a lot more airy and bigger than it is with the addition of this panoramic sunroof. I love everything in here. These vents rise up when you put the aircon on, which is just so cool. That is like so sci-fi. Look at that. Everything you touch and feel, you can tell is a quality product. I wasn't expecting it to be quite so cramped in here, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It is also very driver orientated. Everything is facing the driver. The only thing the passenger really has is this big grab handle. Now, when Jaguar took me around the ring road sideways in one, that was a very much needed addition really, just to hold on for dear life. Now, these cars are actually becoming widely available to, well, peasants like me essentially. When this car was new, they spec'd up, they were around £72,000, whereas now you can find quite a few examples for around the 30k mark, so it is a potential contender as the M3 replacement, which just blows my mind. Now obviously I could sit here and tell you what the car is like to live with, or how easy it is to park, or what it's like around town in auto. However, you don't meet your heroes and then drive them, one in auto and two not in dynamic mode. Down here you have a number of buttons. I am of course in dynamic with this little toggle here, and of course I have the active exhaust button on as well, so I can hear those crisp downshifts. For a standard car, this is unbelievable. There is literally no need to buy one of these and stick an exhaust on it. It's the best sounding car from factory, that and of course the V8, that I feel you could just keep stock. It does feel quite heavy. It is a bit of a heavy car. Oh. But when you come out the corners, it's got more than enough grunt to put the power down, and you wouldn't believe it is really as heavy as it is. I know it's made of light materials, aluminium body and bits and bobs like that, but you can just feel a little tiny bit of roll when you go in the corners. However, I think that's, you know, more than acceptable really. The ride is astonishing as well for a two-seater sports car. Oh, this is just too perfect. Oh. Oh my God. That's something I've just noticed. If we're going to talk about things I necessarily don't like about the car, which is very, very difficult because it's such a love affair for me, I just experienced it coming into that corner. The brakes aren't as sharp as I was expecting, to be honest. And another thing I've noticed, kind of first impressions, the windscreen's quite small, and when you go over like a kind of humpback bridge, I just had to stop in the road because of the bonnet as well. I couldn't see where the road had gone. Visibility out the back as well, if I want to go into that. It's not bad, if I'm honest. You know, there's a bit of a blind spot kind of here. However, if they're the only niggles I can find with a car, and it's a pretty perfect car in my eyes, like I said, this is a dream car of mine. Like the M3 was a dream car, this is probably the modern day version of that dream. And I'm just blown away by, obviously, the looks. I've seen them on the road for years, so that's nothing really new to me. It's mainly the sound which I wasn't ready for, essentially. It's the whips on the upshift, the crackles and pops on the downshift. You just find yourself always looking for the nearest village to just cruise around in second gear, popping and banging, just essentially annoying the locals really, because they don't look too impressed, if I'm honest. But handling characteristics as well, very, very good. Like I said, it is a little bit heavy, but it's completely won me over. It's exceeded all of my expectations. And when you get it up to, I think it's around 55, 60 odd mile an hour, and you look in the mirror, all you can see is the spoiler that's raised behind you with the Jag logo. Now let's do a little performance test and see what it's like in second gear. Oh! Did you hear it bouncing off the limiter then? Oh my God. Again, completely two different cars, but I'm going to compare it to the M3 because that is what I currently own. You can tell it doesn't have the power of the M3. The M3, well, it is a more powerful car, but it definitely feels, this bloody road is so bumpy, it definitely feels quicker. This car is quick, it's just not as quick as the M3. However, it's not far off at 380 brake, and realistically, let's be honest, the M3 is 12 years old now. It is probably producing around the same. I haven't dynoed it yet because frankly I'm too scared of the results. Essentially, I like bragging to people about my 420 brake. I'd be absolutely gutted if it came back like 380 or something, so I haven't bothered. Jag! 2 litre? Yeah. Oh. I have headed to my favourite kind of country roads round by where I live. I've explained this in previous videos, both with the Boxster and my last video with the M3. These roads, these particular roads, are just my favourite. Hard lefts, hard rights, and of course I have the experience and the knowledge of both the Boxster and the M3 as to how they perform on this particular road. So it's a very good benchmark for the Jag, and I can really get a feel of what it's like in comparison. So far, very good. These seats as well, for standard seats, they do hug you incredibly well. Throw it in. Yeah, I mean, very, very good. I don't necessarily have the confidence to floor it, mainly because it's not my car, but it does hold up well. It is very, very good. And like I said, I have taken the Boxster around there, and of course the Boxster handles like an absolute dream, but the Boxster wouldn't have just stepped out like that did. The Boxster didn't sound like this, so I know exactly what I would rather drive around these kind of roads, and it would be this. It's just spinning up its rear wheels. It's letting me have a little bit of play, but it isn't letting me write it off. Like, I just came out of that corner, buried it, and the back end was, the steering wheel was like, "Arr!" And that's what you want. It's so fun. It is, of course, very damp as well today, which isn't ideally how I fantasized about my first ever F-Type kind of drive going, but it's made it a lot more exciting, I feel. A lot more arse clenching for the insurance and the high access that I had to pay. Well, hopefully not yet. Hopefully I don't bin it. Right then guys, I think I need to kind of contain my excitement and my emotions towards the F-Type and kind of convey my overall opinions and thoughts about this car to you guys. Now, as you can probably tell by the fact I haven't stopped smiling during this entire video, I am absolutely in love with this car. If anything, it's made me more motivated to work a bit harder and just try and get one of these cars in my life. All I want to do is carry on driving it. I don't want to give the keys back. And as you can probably tell, I am no means disappointed. The thing with this car is you can't help but smile when you drive it. I've been driving the car for about probably an hour now, and I am very much in the honeymoon phase. It is such a good sense of occasion. I've just looked in the mirror and seen the spoiler go back down, and that's what I'm talking about. This car can hold its own. I feel like I could take this to Cafe in a Machine and just blend right in with all the more exotic and expensive cars. It craves attention from everyone who looks at it. People seem to love it. The sound, oh, I think the sound has to be the best factor of this car. It sounds unreal. I cannot get over the sound and the snap, crackle and pops. It almost makes me want to map them into the M3 just to be a child on the downshifts. Oh wow, it absolutely promotes confidence as well. Driving it after never driven one of these cars before, I pretty much jumped straight into it and just knew exactly what to do. The user interface is very friendly. I know where everything is. It's very driver orientated. It is phenomenal. It has blown my mind, exceeded all of my expectations. I am in love. I want one. It's as simple as that. But anyway guys, that is where I'm going to finish today's video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Hopefully it's not just been me making silly faces and silly noises just mainly over the exhaust. It's probably going to be an exhaust compilation video at the end of the day, let's be honest. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to drive this car some more before I have to give it back. I just want to say massive thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And of course, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell, because the support really does mean a lot. And you never know, I could be in an F-Type sooner than I think. Fingers crossed. Thanks once again for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.